In an age when much of global consciousness is focused on how to protect the rights and improve the well-being of the girl child, there are those who hold the view that issues surrounding the boy child must be addressed with equal passion as well in order to achieve a more rounded society. To help us through salient issues arising from this, we're now being joined by Damilola Chinedu, a boy child advocate and founder, Deborah's Palace Initiative. She will talk about next Friday's Boy Child Conversation Conference, which is a platform designed to engage boys aged between 10 and 18 in the company of their parents, according to the organizers, in meaningful dialogue to build a balanced and thriving society free from crime, substance abuse, and emotional disconnection. We must raise boys who understand responsibility, love, and empathy. Very profound indeed. Welcome, Damilola. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is such a laudable cause. I am very impressed with your initiative, and like you heard in my introduction, in a global world that is focused on a girl child, really, and you have decided to, embrace the cause of a boy child, which I think is very important and pertinent at this particular time in our, especially in Nigeria. I'd like to know what inspired the creation of this, initiative.
Thank you so much. So I think it was about 18 years ago, I'd gone through a phase in my life that I'd made a mistake, right? And then the world sort of focused on me. And then, they were all attacking and saying, why did you do this? Why did you do this? And then it was just the fact that it was both of us. It was myself and the boy, right? And then it was just strolling around the streets of Lagos like nothing happened. Then after going through that phase of my life, I just sat down and I'm wondering, who is talking to the boy child? Because when I looked around me, several other women, several other girls had, gone through the same situation. And then when I asked the story, where's this person? And everybody is going, he's nowhere to be found. He's nowhere to be found. So I'm asking, who is talking to the boy child? I'm being castigated. Everybody is telling me how to live. Everybody is telling me how to be. Everybody is teaching me how to become. Then who is talking to these people, set of boys, to be, to become, to lead, to be responsible, right? Hence the reason why we started the Boy Child Conversation.
Are you inspired by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie as well, who has, she's been really talking about the need for raising our men, our boys, especially in our society. And I loved what you said in your, in the introduction that I read. Train them the responsibility to love and, be free from substance abuse. I'd like to know if you are focusing on children, particularly in the North. The young children, the young Almajiri boys, really. Are you reaching out? Is your outreach going towards the North as well?
Okay, so currently it's just Lagos, and I know that later in the year we're going to Abuja because the Ministry of Education in Abuja has invited us, to come up, take up some of their public schools and government public schools, over there. What we do is, we're not in the North yet. We will eventually go there. But then for us, I think it's really very important to note that Lagos is, Lagos is sort of easy, right? And then it helps us to also be able to understand the scope of the work that we are doing before we move to other spaces, right? But for now, it's just Lagos.
I find it really interesting, the boy-child conversation. I don't think I've heard that before. You often hear of the girl-child conversation. Now, with regards to the girl-child conversation, do you think it has something to do with vulnerability? Do you think that the society believes that women are more vulnerable, women are more prone to certain dangers, and that's why there's such an intent and focus on them to protect them? So do you think that has led to what we see today, where everyone just lets, even it's even a joke, like, the girls have to always answer 1,000 questions before going out, but the boys, they just run wild and free, So do you think it's a cultural, societal issue that we're first of all dealing with?
Well, yes, I do agree. I love that question. That's a very brilliant question. I do agree, yes, the girl child is overly protected, right? And rightly so, considering where we're coming from as women, right? But this is what this is my view about it. I feel like, when boys are in the same room, whilst we're discussing challenges that the girl child and women face, we alienate the boys from the room, we alienate the men from the room. So we are conversing about women and the struggles of women and how women are suffering and all of that, which is rightly so, right? However, I believe that bringing men and the boy child into the room helps them understand the struggles of the girl child and the struggles that women go through. In fact, they will eventually become the voices when they understand, the challenges that women go through. But because they are alienated from the room, they are not there, they don't. Not a lot of them understand what's going on. So when we're talking about gender equality, equal pay, and all of that, it's a struggle for them to understand, at least a lot of the men and boys, right?
Isn't that ironic? They don't understand our fight for equal pay.
Well,
but they don't want to earn more.
Earn more. Do you get what I mean? So I want to believe that, when men and boys are placed in the same room when these conversations are going on. We have a lot of mentoring sessions for women. We have a lot of activities for women, a lot of programs for women, but it's very scarce, when we hear conversations around the budget. In fact, this is the 4th edition of the conference, right? And then for every time, because we're focused on more on children between the ages of 10 and 18, but a lot of the times during the conference, we like to have the older adult teenagers, because they are graduating from school, and then just giving them the tools they need to live better lives. But, a lot of times when you ask them, have you ever been to conversations that has to do with you? Everybody is. But then mute. But then with the girls, it's different, because they've been to Queens, this thing, they've been to women, international. There are loads and loads of programs for them, right? So bringing the boys into a room, right, to discuss them, to discuss how they can be better, how they can be responsible, will go a long way in us having a very balanced society.
Absolutely.
Okay, very well said. Let me first start by thanking you for remembering our agenda. It's usually, about women, girls, ladies, which is okay. We love that. But then if it's not about a Mother's Day, Mothering Sunday, like 12 times a year. And then the dads and the uncles and the boys are like, okay, we like it, but then remember us too. So I commend this.
Thank you so much.
And I will approach this from 2 angles. The first angle will be the international connection to it. I believe that the whole point of this is about the International Child Day. Every May 16th,
May 16th, yes.
It's a pretty recent phenomenon. I think it started in 2018, and it's traceable to a gentleman from Trinidad and Tobago. Unlike all the other days that will be either Europe or America. So first question, how big and effective is the whole idea, of the International Boys' Day? Is everybody, has everybody tuned into it? Is everybody talking about it globally? And then secondly, on Friday, what should we expect from your initiative? You said this will be the 4th edition. So what should we expect? What type of boys are you going to under the bridges and the dark, aspects of Lagos to get boys to come and be educated? Or are you talking to people from regular homes who are okay anyway and, are from schools, and you are just trying to talk to them because it will be easier? Who is your target?
So your first question is how globally recognized, well, not so globally recognized, because I want to know that, we all know that, if it was weeks, 2 weeks, a month before International Day of the Girl Child, everybody would have been talking about it, organizations, brands, quite unfortunately, but it's okay. So far,
We understand.
there are just a few organizations, who recognize, the fact that we're doing the work that we're doing. I'm really very grateful to, brands that we've reached out to who see the need, because they also understand that, to have a balanced society, we need both the boy. It's really very unfortunate that we're now saying boy child. We need the children. We need balanced children, right? So the conversation is not as popular as, for women and girls, but we're hoping that, that's the reason why we also wrote to the policy development agencies, United Nations, UNICEF, FCDU and the likes to come, British Council to come experience the conversation so they see the need. I know that the World Bank and the United, they have very massive budgets for, women and the conversations around women and girls. We need same, encouragement for the boys because, like I said, you cannot succeed in, having the curbing gender violence, without having this gender in the room. Who will be ambassadors of this conversation. And on Friday, that's the 16th of May, which is more like my birthday. So it's not my birthday, right? But every May 16th feels like my birthday because it's a day to actually recognize and celebrate the boys. Right? And it's a day for the boys to be seen. It's a day for the boys to feel that, people actually do really care about us, right? It's a day for the boys to actually come out and say, there's a conversation about us, wow, so I'm really very excited for them. Currently, we're focused on more public schools, right, in Lagos, than, children off the street. We do have programs for them, as well, but currently we're focused on the public schools in Lagos State, because again, they're most likely to be vulnerable, based off of the fact that
what is going on
a lot is going on. In fact, I was speaking to the ministry a couple of days ago, and when they told me about the fact that there's an association of Yahoo mothers, So when
really?
There is. So when
what does that mean?
Exactly.
Oh, fantastic. So I'll explain. So it means that, when boys graduate from secondary schools, their mothers buy them laptops, right? And then go connect them, to a mentor, right? Who teaches them how to...
When they graduate from school?
Yeah, when they graduate from school.
Is it public school or...
Majorly public school. So there's that, there's gambling, there's
So you're telling me that the parents play a huge role in the raising up of these boy...
Yes.
What would I even call them at this point?
Yes.
Yahoo boys? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So for this particular conference, what specific challenge are you focusing on at this time? I love the fact that you just raised this association of Yahoo mothers. And I'd like for you to also help us understand how you are also engaging the parents in the conversation that you're going to have with this particular conference.
All right. So on Friday we are hosting three. It's a 3-in-1 event, right? On the 15th, we're collaborating with Chess in Slum Africa to...
Chess in Slum Africa.
Chess in Slum
that's
Africa,
great.
Yes, to train 18 boys in the game of chess, right? So there's been a 9-week training prior to the competition day. So we see that the game of chess also teaches a lot beyond just the game, patience, perseverance, and all of that. So we connected with them to help teach the boys. So it's been a 9. So on Thursday, they have the chess competition, right? And then on Friday is the Boy-Child Conversation Conference. So there are 2 sessions, 3 actually. There's the Boy-Child Conversation Conference where we're bringing, renowned speakers, young people like them, to actually converse on navigating, teenage to adulthood, right? So these boys see all of our celebrities and, guys in the various industry, and they think they just fall off the tree, right? So we're bringing them on board to actually speak, to the boys, and then just basically sharing their teenage to adulthood story, right? So that way they're educated, they're inspired to do more. They see that, people have gone ahead of them to be, right? So if they can, I can. So that's why we've teamed the conference Made for More, right? Yes. And then for the very first time in 4 years, we're inviting the parents, right? Because we see that there cannot be any change without the parents being involved. So we're reaching out to parents of these boys in public schools to say, come and get skills and tools to raise well-balanced, a well-balanced boy child, right? Because without you, you are just a reflection of your kid. Whatever your child becomes is on you, right? Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of fathers who are there to be. It's just mommies, right? We are hoping that we can have their fathers come into the room to actually understand and see the need, because the boys are they're a mirror of their dads, right? Fathers have to be there to raise a well-balanced son. The boys are looking at you.
I think that's great.
Our boys lack mentorship. Mothers are natural nurturers, right? And they learn discipline, they learn responsibility rather from their fathers. You cannot reap what you did not sow, right? You keep screaming and shouting to want a responsible child when you're not actually raising one, right? So we're having that conversation. And on that panel, fantastic, Uncle Sele, Biodun Ogunleye is the Honorable Commissioner of Energy and Mineral Resources. Is coming. There's Mrs. Lara Olaniran. We have the director from the Ministry of Education, the Pistis Foundation, because we're also collaborating with Pistis Foundation and Chess in Slums Africa, right? So they are coming as well. They will be on the panel as well to actually converse with parents. And on the panel for the boys is an endless ocean, Yemi Kings, the ED of Abbey Mortgage Bank, Mr. Dikbo, Osarome Akezwa. These people are fantastic humans, are fantastic men who have been there, done that, their values top-notch, just basically to come pour into the younger generation of boys, and more importantly, the parents as well.
All right, Damilola, before we let you go, just very quickly, talk to us about you mentioned the experience that you had, was it 18 or 25 years ago, that led to your interest in this. Yeah. Looking at it from between then and now, do you think that things have gotten better in terms of the sort of boys that we are raising at this time? If they're not, what more can be done beyond talking to them, beyond the stuff that you're doing?
Thank you so much, sir. It's gotten worse, right? It's gotten worse because, again, boys lack mentorship. They lack mentorship. There is no mentorship. There are no programs. There are no programs for boys, to become better. We do not have programs for boys. Boys lack mentorship. So I feel that, it's really very important for organizations, for individuals to see the need, right? So the way, you put women and girls in a room to have conversations, the conversation has to keep going on. We need fathers to be responsible because you are the mirror that your son sees. Right, we need fathers to be responsible. We need the schools to do more. We need our, our media people, to spotlight as well, the decadence in the society as it concerns the boy child. You see that when you wake up in the morning and they say there's crime somewhere, right? It's the boys. You're not thinking twice, right? 80% of the children on the streets are the boy child. Yeah. Right. I don't know if I mentioned, the UNESCO report that says that 255 children between the age of 6 and 18 are out of school. 125 million of them are the boy child. Right. So we need conversation. This has to be, because at the end of the day, to have a thriving society, it's beyond the women and girls. It's a full package. The boys have to thrive. So we need to engage them, mentorship, programs, intentional programs for them. The development agencies must be involved. They need to see that this is becoming a menace. For us to be able to curb SDGs goals, particularly as it concerns gender equality, we need conversations around the boy child. The boy child conversations need to be in existence, and it has to be, we have to do so much more with regards, ensuring that our society is aware and that boys need help. We all have to be involved. I also wanted to mention, the conference is a free conference, but they have to register. Parents, online. Yes, online. It's Deborah's Palace, deborahspalace.org. That's www.deborahspalace.org. We need all of the support. We need the news agencies. We need, the brands to come on board. We need the individuals to see that you guys are doing great work. They have to be supportive. If they are not creating rooms for us to have our conversation, they have to support us to ensure that this conversation happens, right? And we can only do as much as, the support that we get, but we're trusting to continue to do the work that, God has placed in our hands.
All right, Damilola, Chinedu, you've been absolutely fantastic, and thank you for the great work that you're doing. We hope that you expand the scope to other states, especially in the north, like I mentioned.
Yes.
And, would like to hear more about this association of Yahoo mothers. I'd love for your conference to also find a way to tackle that aspect, because that's really a critical aspect of raising a boy child, the parent first.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.